Hi, everyone. First of all, thank you all for coming to our session. We wanted to start off our presentation, just kind of going over what the purpose of the presentation and what we would like you to take with you at the end of our presentation, other than the SOAR analysis exercise. So really, Peter and I, and we'll go into kind of how we collaborate and work on things together. We'll go into more detail, but it's really, we want to give you some of our best practices and some things that we've worked on in our work interactions together. So you can take some of that back with you. That's kind of really what our goal is to kind of share some of our experiences, share best practices, and then allow you so that you can take back to your work situation, whether it's you're currently working on different collaborations with different groups or you're planning on starting new collaborations with different people in different areas, whether it be in your department, your college, or your department. So that is what we really are hoping that you will take with you when you're done listening to our presentation.
Excellent. And Gemma, do you want to briefly introduce yourself? And so I don't know if everybody on the call knows who you are and what you where you are located right now. That might be helpful as well.
Sure. So I'm Gemma Garcia, and I work in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences in the Dean's Office. I'm the lead of the online curriculum and digital innovation team. And my primary role is really to work with the 23 units within our college with their online curriculum and digital initiatives.
Yeah, thank you very much, Gemma. And with that responsibilities, it's very important to collaborate across these different colleges within and schools within the college, as well as the other units that are available and supporting you at ASU and beyond. And that's where I come in at certain times when we work on several initiatives together. My name is Peter van Leusen. I'm the Director of Learning Experience and Student Success in Ed+. This is a fairly new group, and the goal of this group is really to partner with the various academic units on really thinking deeply about the learning experiences that our students have. Mostly these are in the digital realm, but also really focus on making sure that these learning experiences are effective, efficient, and humane, or what we say engaging often as well. So this is something that's really important to us, particular with the direction that ASU is going, with the scale that we are pursuing. And there's a lot of collaboration necessary in order to make this happen. What's important to in our role is, because I know this is from a presentation to the IT community, the way we work with technology, it's of course fundamental to digital learning and much of our initiatives. But for us, often it's just a tool, and it's really important to think how we use the tool and how we make it applicable. It's not the overall solution, but it's part of the solution, right? And what we also have to consider for the people who often work with different users group and so on, they're familiar with that. We need to consider the context where the technology is being used, the instructors who might be using this, and also our learners, which is quite a diverse range that we have to deal with. For example, I'm teaching as well. This last semester, I had one of my students asking me what Chrome is. So this is kind of interesting, our target group to consider. So when we create our solutions or when we work on our projects, therefore, it's very important to follow a user-centered approach. So very similar to much of the projects that you might be pursuing in the IT community, or maybe if you're working in the UX design environment. So we generally do that using a design thinking approach, which is iterative, rapid prototyping, collecting feedback, continuous improvement, and so on. And I thought we would like to share this as well. And so you know where we come from and how technology played our role. But Gemma, how do we know each other? Okay, maybe we can talk about that briefly.
Yes, so I think we said you've been at ASU for 8 years.
That's correct, yeah.
So we've been working together for 8 years. I can't remember when I first met you, Peter, but I know that you were working in the dean's office in the college, and I was working in the college in the School of Social Transformation and the School of Historical Philosophy and Religious Studies. And I know that we met and we immediately started working on some initiatives and some faculty development trainings. And as we both have progressed in our career, even though we've been in different roles, some of our roles have overlapped where we have had to collaborate. And I don't mean that like we had to, but we enjoy collaborating with one another, but just in our roles, because there was an overlap, I think it just made sense to collaborate with one another.
Yeah, that's a good. I was fairly new, and you have quite the experience with ASU. So I was fortunate to be partnering with you on several initiatives, and that partnership has prevailed throughout our different careers as well as the different projects that we have organized. So we're going to talk about some of the lessons that we learned. Some of them are pretty common sense, but we thought we want to highlight them, and we put them in this fun theme that we thought at that time when we created this presentation. Hey, let's make it all part of vitamin C, because vitamin C is good for us in general. We want to say briefly that we are not doctors or have a medical or nutrition background as well. So please do not take everything we say in that area for granted. So please do your research before you pursue these recommendations that we give you. So with this in mind, really briefly, as we all know, when we say collaboration, of course, this is an intentful act of working jointly together. We thought you just want to make sure that everybody is aware of this. It's always good to start with the definition. All right, let's go in. So what are we talking about when we talking about vitamin C? So first of all, did you know that vitamin C improves blood flow and heart health in general, right? So vitamin C is an important role in the health and function of the immune cells. White blood cells depend on vitamin C in order to withstand the attacks of pathogens and free radicals. That's our medical advice for improving blood flow and heart health. Gemma, help us understand a little bit how that can be translated to collaboration.
So self-awareness, nothing crystallizes what you bring to the table more than when you're really forced to articulate your competencies. So collaboration challenges you to articulate and distill what you're great at and what you do poorly, or areas that you could improve. So, the honesty about your strengths and weaknesses can force you to ask for help when necessary and to be really honest in how you can help others. So we also wanted to provide examples of our experience, not just talk to you, but just kind of share our real world experiences. So ASU institutional knowledge. I've been really fortunate to have 23 years here working at ASU. I worked in many different areas, including UTO. And so knowing the stakeholders, and I'll speak for me and then I'll let Peter talk. Knowing who the stakeholders are, knowing how to communicate, and how to identifying the stakeholders, knowing how to communicate with the different stakeholders. And then I guess one of the big things that I think Peter and I will talk about is don't make assumptions. I think going in it with an open mind, and then knowing that things at ASU, and we all know this, things change very rapidly. So a structure that could be in place, or the stakeholders, it can change rapidly. So Peter, do you want to talk more?
Yeah, thank you. So as I mentioned, I came new to ASU, and it was very helpful to have somebody who understands what is the blood that's pumping through your veins, what is making sure, how do things work. As individuals, we don't we don't necessarily work in a vacuum, right? So anything that we do, and that's part of design thinking as well, we are thinking about systems and systems impacting each other. So it's very important that you understand how these systems work and interested in learning about these other systems, because that will help you in the long run implement solutions much more effectively, efficiently, and successfully as well.
I would agree with you on that, Peter. That's a really good key point there, is understanding the different systems and how they work.
Excellent. I know we're going to go rapidly through these, so I hope we're going to have some questions afterwards as well, but we have another vitamin C recommendation for you. And Gemma, do you want to talk about this?
Sure. So vitamin C improves energy. It's an antioxidant, which that was news to me. I guess I don't know a lot about vitamin C, so this helped us learn about it. It acts up to donate an electron to neutralize free radicals and restore peace and harmony to the body.
Yeah, and very similar to getting energy from vitamin C, collaboration can provide energy as well. As you work with different stakeholders and different groups, there will be different perspectives. And the term creative abrasion, which was actually coined by Jerry Hirsch, who was an executive designer at Nissan, if you're interested in that. Anyway, so abrasion is a process of wearing down through friction. And we typically associate friction with something negative, right? So because people, might not agree on the same thing. But if you really think about it, it's actually good because you can build in different perspective into your product and get something that is much more successful. And so the challenge here, or the goal, is to really use this friction to channel it into something positive. So are you able to collaborate with the people, even if they don't necessarily come with the same mindset, even if they necessarily come with the same understanding that you have? Can you use that information to build or develop a better solution and so on as well? And that has been very foundational to our work. Yes, particularly we work with quite different disciplines, and when you work with the sciences, they don't necessarily agree with the humanities, and so on. Or the engineers are always very special. So it's always very interesting when you have these different groups come together. And so what we've been trying to do is trying to foster these different energies and come together to create a larger source of energy. So some of the things that we have directly worked on is creating showcases where different instructors or different departments share some of these best practices that they have created in order to inspire other people. One of the things that we are working on was called Demo Fest. I know that was one of my first projects. I think that's I worked with you on. So where we had people showcasing different teaching practices, different technologies, and so on as well. Gemma, how did you continue? I know you guys continued that with a similar theme throughout the college, right?
Yes. So my team, we offered I don't want to call it a training, but it's similar to Demo Fest, but it was Tech Fest, and we partnered with UTO, and we partnered with WP Carey and engineering, and we also partnered with iPlus to showcase some of the technology that's available to faculty, and it was highly successful. I think everyone brought different expertise to the table. Logistically, it was really challenging, but we were able to do that. And that was like one of the really successful professional, I won't call it training, professional development for faculty. And we're hoping to have more. Just COVID has kind of limited that. And we've also are thinking, how can we do this virtually? And have the collaboration across the university.
Excellent. I know we have limited time. I think we have about 5 minutes left before, and we have 3 more tips for you in order to improve your health. And one of the next ones is, did you know that vitamin C supports your immune health as well? So research shows that while vitamin C does not necessarily directly attack cancer, it helps to keep the immune system stronger, empowers it to even counter cancer or even destroy cancer. So very good to know. So make sure that you keep up with your vitamin C. How does that how can that be translated into collaboration? Gemma.
So the idea of 2 heads are better than 1 has been around for over 4 centuries for a reason. So more effective problem solving happens when you combine resources and talent, experience, finances, infrastructure. I think we all can relate that when we're working on an initiative, it's not just within our group that applies, it affects other areas. So we have to bring and collaborate with other areas within the university. And so planning for the future and building capacity and building for scale, I think, is essential. And that's how kind of it relates to the collaboration piece. One example Peter and I are working on right now is the undergrad BA history online redesign. That's still in progress, but the idea is that we are looking to the future. We're looking to redesign, we're looking to build capacity and also redesign and examine the technology and update the technology. And that's not just Peter and I working on that. That's the academic unit, that's the faculty, that's the instructional designers, that's Ed Plus. So it's not, and program management. So it's not just Peter and I working. We need a whole entire team behind the initiative to make that successful.
Yeah, and it's massive, and it's going to impact hundreds, if not thousands, of learners directly. So, and the word on the street is that we're going to create the best program in history. So, with that, moving forward and considering our time, we do have another one for you. And what do we know about collaboration, vitamin C, regarding healthy joints?
So I didn't know this, but vitamin C does support healthy joints. I had no idea. Again, I'm learning through this presentation. It plays an important role in the production of collagen. I did not know that either. And which is the main constituent of ligaments, bones, disc, tendons. So obviously vitamin C is really important on skin. And this is also new. High dose of vitamin C has been shown to improve the healing process of burns, cuts, wounds, sprains, strains, and broken bones. So like it's a miracle worker.
Yeah, and very important for us, because we are often there on the forefront working with different stakeholders, and sometimes we get burned sometimes. So, but anyway, in order to, have a healthy joints, we are really the oil in the system, the cartilage between the different joints, if you really want to talk about that. And one example that I really want to mention is something that we have been doing for 3 years now, is the undergraduate degree in biology. Some people call it the biospine. And from a technology perspective, it is quite interesting because it uses an adaptive courseware, an adaptive platform. So the goal is really to create a personalized learning experience for thousands of students while they are either going through our immersion or digital immersion settings. So this is quite the undertaking, as you can imagine. The technology needs to be there, the content needs to be developed in a certain way. Instructors need to be prepared to teach that way. What do you do when you have thousands of students on different pathways? And of course, students have to be prepared for that as well. So, and I know time is running short, so I'm going to jump to our last health advice for you today. And I really like that one here, because this is important, because as you know, it's important to age healthy, and and relationships are very, very important within ASU as well. So vitamin C supports healthy aging. But also, it's important for you, and when you collaborate with somebody, that you keep these relationships intact, because you never know when you run across each other's path again. So, as mentioned, Gemma and I have been working on and off together throughout these past years that we have been at ASU, and that has been always a collaborative and very positive experience. So, something, as a lot of people say, don't burn your bridges, comes true as well. So, ASU is a big school, but it's a very small school when you come across the same people very often. So when you collaborate, think about longevity, and that relationships are important in order to age healthy. So with that, the final recommendation is we are very much interested in your health. These are the top 10 foods that we have available for you regarding vitamin C. So there's some of my favorites are on there. Gemma, do you have any favorites on there as well?
Yes. Actually, all of them, except not kale.
All right. And with that in mind, we want to give it back to Michelle. I know we took a little bit longer time. We apologize, but I think we still have some time to really soar and move on.
We definitely do. And there was some conversation back and forth in the chat about both the medical advice and the collaboration tips. So thank you both. And to be just as a reminder, we thought that this might be most impactful if you have the opportunity or take the time to think individually about where you are now and the strengths already in the collaboration that you're doing with others. And then also the opportunities that are in your individual sphere of influence for collaboration. And I kind of wanted to jump to aspirations and results. So of course, you're welcome to, take your individual document, change the settings on it so we all can view it, share it in the chat. I hope that it helps you to take some action, but I think others could also be inspired by what you've recorded. So right now though, let's focus in on aspirations, and it's really small, but there are some additional ideas in here about what that might look like in the future. So, some questions that we might think of when we're thinking about aspirations are, what do we want this to look like long term? What's our future vision around collaboration? As mentioned, ASU is a big place with a lot of moving parts and a lot of really specialized organizations. So just take a moment to put in the chat an aspiration you have, either about you personally, what you hope to see collaboration look like in your area, or something maybe with the spirit of empower. What's an aspiration that you can see for collaboration among IT across ASU in all of our different departments and permutations and responsibilities? So maybe take a moment to think of one right now. Go to your SOAR and copy and paste one of your aspirations into the chat. Thanks, Jennifer, for mentioning VR and AR collaboration. When we're talking about that fourth realm of learning, I think there's a lot of opportunity for growth and for learning about what's currently happening, what the potential is for what can happen. Definitely, it will take collaboration to realize those that future that we envision.
In particular in today's time, right, where we were, I guess, forced rapidly to change how we collaborate or look at different technologies to do so. And I also have to say that over time, collaboration changed. Like Gemma and I used to meet, Gemma and I used to send emails, Gemma and I used to have phone calls, and now we are using Slack, right? So, and Slack has not been around that long, if you really think about it, at least compared to my age. So, and how that has really changed how we collaborate today. So that's something. So what can we think about in like next 5 years? What's going to happen? So VR definitely one great venue.
That's a good point about how collaboration has changed, because I've been at ASU for 23 years, and so if I look back how it was and like when I first started ASU and how collaboration happens and how it happens now, it's like rapid. We've got Slack, we've got tools to allow us to collaborate much more efficiently. But there's still, there's sometimes the collaboration does require, to still be in person. But it's interesting to think about the history of how collaboration changes as depending on kind of the environment and the technology and the different groups. It's interesting.
Absolutely. And I challenge us, I think it's a really close jump then to start thinking about results. So if we've thought about what this could look like, what our vision and our dream is around collaboration across ASU, what are some results, some tangible results? What would this look like if it is in place and we've made some improvements? These results might be something very far down the road, or like Sean's comment of maybe AI managed thread-based collaboration tools, or maybe something that we could take action on and see a result in the next 3 months. Or by the time we all come together for Empower again next year. So what's something, share in the chat, that you would like to see as a result of improved collaboration and those joints moving a little more smoothly between all the different parts of ASU?
Me like AI to manage my Slack communications. Help me sort the channels.
We feel your pain. We feel your pain. Is there some vitamin C for that against like headaches or something? Like maybe one good practice I heard, you should stop sharing slides so that everybody can see each other. But we are quite a number of people, so.
Yeah, I think that really helps with getting to know people. I know just a personal story related to this. I was in a responsible innovation workshop and had the opportunity to see someone post in the chat, and I was drawn to what he was saying and looked him up on iSearch and found out that this is a great person in another part of ASU for me to collaborate on some work that I'm trying to do. So something serendipitous, but taking advantage of this opportunity to interact synchronously, asynchronously, use our tools to find out more about each other and the areas of expertise that they have. That has already produced a good outcome for me personally. I see things about alignment and communication and adoption. So just kind of the capacity for us to be a little more on the same page. I'm sure that will benefit us as well as our stakeholders, right?
Yeah, and I really like what Josh is saying here. It's really important to really think about the different communities that you're working with. And as I mentioned, like some of our students, they don't know what Chrome is, right? And we are channeling them to digital learning experiences with VR and these kind of things. So will that be a barrier or will that be successful? That's something always we have to think about.
And it looks like we're going to be all kicked out in a few seconds here. So I want to take the opportunity to thank everyone for coming to our session. I think they'll share our contact information if you have any questions or you want to talk further. Thank you so much.
Thank you
very
so
much.
much.
Thank you for the presentation. Thank you.